Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. I am so excited to have Karen Wallo on the show. She is a musician. She loves music. She loves art. You can see her art in the background. She is a creative, obviously, and just a great all around soul. And I'm super excited to have you on the show and for you to share your story. Welcome, Karen. How you doing today?
Hi, Ted. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm excited. You've got great energy. I love it when a guest has energy. I love somebody who's going to talk about their passion or their passions, which you will do. But before we take a deep dive into music and art, the audience always loves to know a little bit about you, your origin story. So tell us the 411 on Karen.
Okay, the 411. So, my first instrument was organ. You know, those little Emily organs, those little teeny things?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, my parents bought that for me. You know, they said, she might be able to play it, she might not. But then I would hear a song and I would just go straight to the note, exact note. I had perfect pitch at the age of 5. So
Wow.
yeah, I know it was wild. And my father was like, "Oh, my child is a prodigy. Oh my God."
All
Anyway,
parents think that. That's a beautiful thing.
right? I know. And so I was like super into it. And then my parents paid for lessons throughout my high school years with the organ, like a B3. You know, so I was using all my limbs. And I was also singing in choirs, you know, so I started singing in 7th grade. And my choir professor or teacher, whatever, said, "You're going to be a professional when you grow up." I said, "Oh, really?" And well, she was right.
How did it become? I think a lot of people, and we'll talk about art too in a little bit, but I
Sure.
feel like there are people who have a gift or feel like they have a gift and somebody's told them that. But I think it's very hard for a lot of people with a musical gift to transition out as an adult into a world because then you've got bills and responsibilities, and the music world as a whole can be very challenging. What was that like for you, and how did you continue to make it part of your career in your life?
That's an excellent question. I had to make a big decision after high school. I was accepted into the American Academy of Dramatic Arts because I'm also, I was into acting too and dance and art and everything. And I was like, do I want to do that or do I want to be a math major? Which is like, right? I mean,
The
night
opposite
and day.
brain.
Exactly. So there was a practical side of me, and I said, okay, as much as I want to do that, and that's my passion, I also want to be able to pay my bills when I grow up. So I went to Montclair State University, majoring in math, and my plan was to be a math professor. And then I did great with the calculus and physics and all of that. But
God bless you.
the minute I took statistics and probability, I was like, "Get me out of here! This is not for me."
I
You
hated
know.
that class.
Oh, what a nightmare! So I switched to psychology at that point, but in the meantime, all through college, I was taking acting, art, music, dance. You know, the creative arts that's where my passion is. It's always been like that. And then at the age of 21, I actually got into my first professional band called Pirate. And I was very shy back then, believe it or not. I
Really?
mean, on stage, I would sing a song and be like, "Thank you," and that's it. And and the sound man would be like, "Karen, talk to the audience a little bit." Now I can't shut up. Now I never shut up. So
I love that transition though, right? You have to kind of learn your voice. So you performed. Were you lead singer? Were you backup singer? Were you like, because I feel like people who are creatives, a lot of them tend to be shyer, but the stage is a place where they feel safe and they can have a different persona. And of course, it's one thing to be 21 and on stage, but you've taken it further. Like you've made this part of your life. This is not just I did it when I was in my 20s kind of scenario.
indeed, it is my life, actually. So I started at 21, and I'm not going to give my age,
You're
but
25, Karen.
yeah, so it's been about a few years. Anyway, so and I never stopped. Basically, I've been in every band that you can imagine, from a 12-piece horn band playing weddings and bar mitzvahs and corporate, to a famous band called the Box Tops. They did that song "Give Me a Ticket for an Airplane." I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
Well, it was called "The Letter," but everybody knows of it as "Give Me a Ticket for an Airplane."
Yes, The
Anyway,
Letter. I love that song.
yeah. So they hired me. I auditioned against like 200 people, and I went on the road, and we sang all through Canada, all through the United States. I had my own makeup artist. We had lobster backstage, and it was really cool. And played in front of 10,000, 20,000 people. I met Davy Jones and all, the Coasters, the Drifters, the Marvelettes, all these different bands. That was the pinnacle. That was like amazing. And I'd be in like a supermarket in Canada, and somebody'd be like, "I know you. Aren't you in the Top Hats?" I'm like, "What? You mean the Box Tops?" Yeah. And yeah, it was so much fun. And signing autographs and all that. It was just cool, just seeing all the joy in the audience. But I also sang in on the road for years. I was based out of Orlando, actually. And there was an agent there
Right.
named there was an agent there named Monty Taylor, and contemporary artist management. And he booked my band called The Hits, which was from Long Island. And we traveled all along the whole United States, everywhere, and in a bus. And from like Michigan, then we had a gig, in like Key West, and no sleep, straight there,
There.
Yeah, now I'm in a band called the Shore Bet Band, and we're on Facebook. You can find us there, and we're playing a lot. We had like 7, 8 gigs last month.
What's it like thinking about when you were 21 and doing that, or when you were traveling with Box Tops?
Yeah.
What's it like as you've matured? Has your musical performance matured? Has your taste for music matured? Like, what's the difference between when you were 21 or 22 singing and now when you're performing?
You ask the best questions, Ted. I love your questions. You're good. Okay. Actually, well, as far as what I listen to, is progressive rock. So I listen to things like King Crimson, Genesis, very complex music. What I like to sing, everyone thinks, "Oh, you're a rock singer." And yeah, I am a rock singer. And things like Blondie, Pretenders, Benatar, all of that. And I've been in 80s bands, and I've done it all. But now I'm doing my own music again. I used to record in Nashville years ago, and did some songs there on Music Row. But right now, he's like a brother to me. He's my spiritual brother and my art and music manager, Bob Turco. And I have a band called Cisbro, because we're like
Saw that in your bio.
Yeah. So I am not exaggerating, 11 original songs for this week. It's been crazy. And I mean, like the studio all night long, like just getting these tracks down. And then we're going to go, and there's someone named David Ivory. He's a big producer in Philly. He's produced Patti LaBelle and some other stars, and he loves our stuff. So we're going to go into his studio and re-record with all the, top equipment and stuff, our 11 songs for Cisbro. So it's jazz too, which is wild, because I've never really thought of myself as a jazz singer, but all of a sudden I've become this jazz singer.
If you have a gift, if you have a gift, which you obviously do, it can be chameleon-like. I feel like you have a creative gift, and music, you just kind of go with the flow because you are a creative at heart, which I want to ask about. You have art behind you, so the title of our show is "Music and Art Are My Anchors." So it's crazy enough that you know how to do math, and then even crazier that you go right to the right brain with music. Tell me about the transition, or the figuring out that art was part of who you are as well.
Wow. Okay, the origins of my art. Now, that started very young as well. In grammar school, I used to draw with my dad, and we would just draw faces. And he was a good artist, and we just had fun together. And then I won a gold medal for a drawing of a dog when I was in like 5th or 6th grade. And then I kind of let it go to the side, and I was focused more on the music. But then I got really heavily into it at Montclair State University, where I went to college, and I started taking art classes and started really painting seriously when I was about 19. And then again, my art and music used to go back and forth. Like I would focus on one and not the other. Now, right now in my life now, I'm doing both equally, which is really cool. In the last like year or so, I've been painting. I did 18 originals in the last 9 months, which is nuts. And
Where does your energy and creativity come from? Like, I know creatives that usually can focus on one thing and then they're exhausted. You're doing in my opinion, two completely different art forms, and your 11 songs and 18 pieces of art. I mean, that is a lot, Karen, which I
thank
love.
you. Thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah, it's intense. I'm also a songwriter too. So,
Love
and
it.
a poet, and I'm writing a book. Yeah, I don't know how I do all this. It's nuts, but I figure somebody's got to do it. But the biggest thing with my art career happened in 2009 when I won a huge award. It was one of the most exciting moments of my entire life. I was in this 4-state competition in a museum in Nevada, and the previous director of the Guggenheim, Elizabeth Herridge, was the juror. And there were thousands of artists that were trying to get into this, and just to even get in the show. So, and they picked like one piece. They picked two for me. They allowed me to show two of my abstracts. And I was like, oh my God. Well, anyway, the night of the wine and cheese reception, where they were going to give out the awards, one of the curators of the museum said, "You're going to have a good night tonight, Karen." And his wife was like, "Shut up," but he was like giving it away. But anyway, I won. I won first place in painting oil acrylics. I got a blue ribbon out of thousands that tried to even get in the show. I was crying. I was freaking out. I was on the front page of the news. And then a really well-known art magazine, National, wanted to put me on the front cover. But sadly, something terrible happened to me. My brother died in an awful way in Las Vegas, and everything just changed, and I never followed through with it. But I really feel like my destiny is to make it, either in my art or my music. I've come so close so many times, Ted. I really have. Like I almost had a record deal, and then 9/11 happened. I was supposed to be flown to Canada with a band that was, represented by Sony, and 9/11 stopped the flight and everything. It was like, what the heck, So right now I'm just fired up to just go as far as I can go in either career, whether it's art, music, it doesn't matter. They both mean the most to me. They
You're
both.
just so, you talk. I love the way that you talk. It's palpable, the way your passion
Oh, thank
for
you.
the arts and for what you do. The creativity makes me feel like I need to get back to the creative side of me, because I feel like a lot of people put it away as we get older. We don't focus on those things that we enjoyed or have a passion for, and I
Right.
think all creatives, in some way, if they haven't figured out how to monetize it and have it be the way it supports you, that they just kind of bury it, and it makes me sad. We have a lot of artists that come on here that either haven't performed or haven't written or haven't painted in a long time, and it's always so. It's heartbreaking. But your story is different, and that's why I love it. I love the fact that you're still in it. You're enmeshed in it. You have a passion for it, and I think that what we do on the show try to encourage creatives to come on, because we want the rest of the world to experience your gifts and experience your art and your
Thank you.
music. I have as we wrap up, I have a last question, but I do want you to share. I have your website scrolling across there, which is karenwallo-fineart.com. Is there a separate one for music that I can put in the comments later on?
Well, we have Karen Wallo and Robert Michael Turco, Cisbro. That's Sisbro, because we're like brother and sister.
Love it.
So we call ourselves Cisbro. And right now, we have right on our page on YouTube, we have songs that he's written to put over top of my art to like take you deeper into the
Oh,
painting.
that's so
It's
cool.
really unique, no one's done that. And so we have that going on. But Our originals are just coming out now, so they're not there yet. But on my Facebook page, I'm Karen Wallo, and then in parentheses Karen Deering. That's a long story about my Irish heritage. And but I do have an art business page, which would be Karen Wallo, and then it says animals, art, music all together. And that's, my art business page. So I put a lot on there as well.
I think that I want you to come back on. Now that I understand, I would love for you to sing a song next time. I'll let you prep, because I feel like music moves the world. And when we were in the shutdown, I had so many artists come on, and it's such a beautiful thing when people get to share their gift, and they can do it live. I had some crazy people, but I had a blast. And so I would love for you to come back on, Karen. I would love for you to share with the audience. Tell them KarenWallo-fineart.com, and what is the business page?
It's Karen Wallo, and then, Facebook.com, animals, art, music, all together, all lowercase, because I'm a big advocate for wildlife, in particular wolves and mammals of the sea. And everything I do, every painting I sell, every song that I sing or whatever, write, is all dedicated to reducing animal suffering in this world.
Love it. Beautiful. All right. One last question, and then we'll go. When I say the word hero to you, who's the first person who comes to mind?
I'm getting choked up. My father that raised me.
Tell me why.
Whoa. Wow. I didn't expect this. I don't usually cry, and when I cry, I can't sing. So if it happens to me on stage, because he really, okay, first of all, I found out 4 years ago that he's not my biological father. And that was the most intense moment of my life in Czech Republic when my ancestry.com came in. Yeah. But anyway, his name was William Wallo. I lost both my parents many years ago. And my mom too, both of them, they encouraged me. They were like, "Oh my God, you're a star. You're going to be a star. You have a great voice. You can paint, you can draw, you could sing, you should pursue your dreams." They never gave me this guilt trip like, "Oh, you have to be normal and become an accountant or a doctor or something." They always encouraged me. And so my dad, William, yeah, and my mom, Elizabeth, I miss my parents. I love them so much. They always were there for me. I lost them early in life. So, but they were there. They were there. They'd come to all my shows. They were like my groupies.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You're
welcome.
That always elicits a emotional response.
Yeah, it's intense.
But because I think we don't acknowledge out loud to other people a lot who our heroes are, who the people are who motivate us or have motivated us. And so it's always such a powerful thing to hear. I always get chills when somebody gets choked up, because sometimes it's the first time they've said it out loud, especially to an audience. So kudos to you. Thank you for sharing. You guys, Karen's amazing. Karen Wallo, KarenWallo-fineart.com. I'll share all the rest of the links down below in the comments. I'll reach out to her, book her, listen to her, download her music when it's available. And let's get behind our creatives. Karen, come back on anytime. You are a joy.
Oh, you are too, Ted. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, get behind our creatives. Follow Karen on all of her social media. Let's get back to our creatives. We'll see you guys soon.